Today we're going to show the Year 10s how to make some different garnishes, and I've got all these different salad stuff here to make some fancy stuff, but we're going to make some mayonnaise first. So this is called the slow way, which is the well-known way, which is, and years ago in 1990 I taught this in my first time when I taught at Highbury College. They taught, and we used to do it by hand then rather than electric whisk. So there's 2 egg yolks in here. There's a lemon juice or vinegar, you can use as some sort of acid, and 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Now what you do is you whisk this up and then you add the oil slowly. I reckon this will take 10 minutes to make this, and somebody's going to go and do this. So he's just going to go and do that next door. If you go and take that next door, put your timer on, come back in 5 minutes. Don't only add a little bit of oil at a time. The more, as long as it's nice and thick, you can add a bit more oil, right? And you have to go it on high speed. You do that and come back, do your timer on there, right? Now we're back to here. Now we're going to do some boiled eggs. So if this is boiling, it needs to go in the boiling water really, and then nearly boiling. And they take about 8 or 9 minutes, maybe a bit longer for hard boiled, maybe about 4 minutes for soft boiled. And we're going to do a timer. Can you go and get a timer off the thing? And when we put them in, we're going to do a couple of soft boiled eggs. We're going to try one at 4 minutes, 3, 4 and 5 minutes to see how soft it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is the tomato. So with the tomato, I'm just going to show them this. They're not the pupils I'm going to do this, but they're going to do the tomato roast. We put a little cross in it. And we're going to do a thing called blanch the tomato. Then we're going to take the scoop out, take the little eye type bit out, whatever it's called. Yeah. And then we're going to put this in the water for about 15 seconds. And then we're going to put it in some ice. I've got some ice water. We don't need the ice water, it just needs to be cold water. That's called refreshing it. So I'm going to put this in. Now they should be actually boiling. They're not actually bubbling like mad, because they're electric ones, they've been on wire. So I'm going to do that one in a minute. So that one's done. So now we're going to do a roast, and all the pupils are going to do this. So you all have to watch this. The timers are normally in the cupboard down there. Cheers. So this one here need a nice sharp knife. Right, this nice. I should have sharpened this knife a bit. So I'm going to go here. So hopefully you can see that. Is that about right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. Well done. So we can do that. And we have to be nice and thin. If it's not thin now, you won't be able to roll it up. So this is really hard, by the way, and we should be able to make a roast. So in this class, I reckon 4 people in the class might be able to do the whole skin and still look like a rose, and the other ones will all break, but it still might look like a rose, even if it's only a short one. So you don't need the whole one, but as you can see, that's roughly the whole skin. Now we roll it up, and this looks like a rose. That's the first garnish we're going to do with the tomato, right? If it's a little bit thick here, you can just take off the excess, but without breaking the tomato, right? So we roll it up nice and tight as we can. Hopefully, this looks like a rose, right? So let me have a look here. Let me just point the camera over here. Oh, where's the camera? There's the camera. There's the camera. So we've got a rose. As you can see, it looks like a rose, yeah? So that's the first thing they're going to make. And put it on the tray. The next thing they're going to do is with the tomato that's left, they're going to cut it into quarters. Yeah? Oh, actually, they could do something first, actually. Or one could cut it into quarters and one could do something else. So in a pair, one cuts it into the quarters, so you get 2 quarters, and the other person does this bit here. So without this tomato, you only get yourself 1 tomato each, but I'm going to show you this. We're going to make a tomato crown. So these are a bit, I wouldn't say they're that good, this is a bit old fashioned. The tomato rose looks a lot better. But we're going to put it in here 45 degrees, and your mum probably do this and your grannies do this at home. So this is like a tomato crown, which these are a bit old fashioned, but one thing we can do with this is scoop the middle of the tomato out and then serve a mayonnaise or a sauce in it. So I wouldn't actually use these anymore, but I would do these and then take so rather than use like a little ramekin, we could use a little thing. So when we've done that, we pull it apart and we get this thing called a tomato crown. You've probably seen that. Now they're quite easy to do, but then we can get a teaspoon, or we can get the Brazilian cut. It might come out with this. So I might use this actually, but normally you just use a teaspoon, but I could just do it with a melon baller to show you. I'm going to get a little bowl out for my rubbish. Yeah. And that's boiling now, so I'm going to put this in for 15 seconds. So it only takes 10 normally, but I'm going to put it 15. Last time it didn't work with 10, so I'm just going to count about 15 until I scoop this out, I reckon. So I'm going to put the rubbish in here. So I do one with I'm going to do one with the scoop. This is a bit sharper than teaspoons. That might be better than a teaspoon actually. And then we could use that to serve the mayonnaise in a little dip like salsa. So that would make it good for your exam. That could be stuck on there then. So I'm going to put it on the black slate and stuff here. So that's probably about 15 seconds. We can take it out with a slotted large spoon. But I'm just going to take it out with a tablespoon. And then I'm going to chuck it. I've got some ice cold water here. Hopefully that will pill. Let me see if that will pill. Let me see if that will pill. Normally I put it in the ice water straight away. I think that will just pill. If not, I'll just do it again. Right, now eggs. So what we're going to do now, did you manage to find the timer? Just nod, yeah? Okay, so when I put it on, and you set it for 3 minutes, then we're going to set it for a minute and think it again. So we can just put these in. You can put these in with a spoon if you're worried about it. And you can put a bit of vinegar in the water, so if any egg comes out, it sets these, yeah? So I'm going to count how many here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I put in there 6, 7. 7 add 5 is 12. I think it's 12. Let me just double check how many, because I need at least one as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Can you just go and get me one more egg for Miss Amelia? Might be one in the fridge, cheers, just so we've got an extra one. Okay, so the eggs are cooking. So when it's done 3 minutes, we'll take the one out. Then I'll take one out after another minute, and then we'll do the other ones for another 4 minutes. So at least 8 minutes. If you don't cook them, most people, depends what you want them for, but we want them quite hard boiled for what we're making today. So that's that done for the minute. So with these ones, and you're going to get 2 of these because you're going to share the tomato, because one of the 2 of you can only do this right. Then the other one is you're going to both do this though, yep? Because we're going to serve the mayonnaise in this. Then we cut all the bits out. Then you're going to get 2 fans. We're going to fan this. Now normally, we could fan this and we'll make a little fan. So you can fan strawberries, which we're doing later. That's in the next video, the sweet video later. Put all the rubbish in my pot, and you could use this for tomato soup or something. Right, put it all in there. Then we get the large knife, it's slightly easier, and we cut it. Let me see how many times I can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you might have to come down with your camera, move it down here. Just lift the whole tripod up so you can see that. It's not looking too red because I've taken the skin off of it. Can you see that or not? Okay, I'll do that bit in a minute. I'll just do 2 more. Right, like that. Then the other thing we can do is like tomato concasse, which is like little diced up tomatoes. So rather than like cut up like a wedge of tomato, which is far too easy, we could do something fancy like a little bit of chopped tomato this size, right? But you're all going to do these ones first. Then later, once I've checked them, then I'm going to get you to chop it up because we're going to use this for one for the salad. So I'm just going to put that on there. It's a little bit of tomato concasse. Normally goes with onion. Now the next thing, so we've done tomatoes. So we've got 4 things out of a tomato. Tomato rose, a tomato crown, 2 of these and 1 of these. You're only going to have 1 tomato each, so you're going to share this. Oh, we've got the eggs. So the egg, this is, oh, that's the extra egg, so that's it. Now these aren't boiling, so it makes a difference how furiously it's boiling. It doesn't look like it's boiling, so it might not even be cooked in 3 minutes. This one here, let me see if I can take the skin off. If not, I might do this again. So now I should be able to take the skin off. Right, you're not going to do this today. You're going to do more of the tomatoes. So as you can see, I put it on. First, it does sort of peel. So I peel that, and that's the way to peel it. With a pepper, by the way, you either get a blowtorch or grill it, and you actually burn the skin, and then it comes off. So you can't blanch this. The reason I've got showing you this, even though you're not doing it, this could be a question in your exam. One of the questions in the exam was, how do you know bread's done? So I hadn't taught you that, and most of you got that one wrong. So so this might say, how do you blanch, or is it called blanching a tomato to take the skin off? Or it might say, to take the skin off, true or false, you plunge it in boiling water for 10 to 15 seconds. So that's the next, is that the 3-minute one? Can you set it for 1 more minute? Because I reckon the water wasn't boiling where I put so many eggs in there. And we're going to class that as the 3-minute egg really. So then that's done. So now you've got a peeled tomato, so you don't actually eat the skin. So you can do anything with that like I've done here, by the way. So I'll just do one little, oh no, I'm going to let somebody else crown this one or do the feather. Now we're going to do the cucumber. Now, if you see the basic cucumber, and this would be for about year 6s to do this, they would just slice this up, right? So nice and thin, and that's like the easiest thing you can do. But we can do something a lot better than that. We're going to cut it along in half. These are called crabs. I call these crabs. So we get this here, Don't know if you'll be able to carry the whole tripod so they can see this bit. Like this. Let me show you what I mean. So you're going to put it here, so you can put it on here. Just hold it like that then they can see what I'm doing, otherwise it's too far away. So we need to do 5 times. You watch him? 5 times. Write this down then, who's typing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the 5th one's cut off. I'll show you that once more. You're watching? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that in slow motion to show you. Then we turn round. I know the timer's going off, by the way. We turn round number 2 and 4. Now, as you can see, I reckon only half the class will be able to do that because they've cut this too thick. And this knife's not very sharp, so we're going to sharpen all the knives first before you use them. So that was the egg taken out. I'm going to take 1 egg out. Now, hopefully, I'm not going to take the egg out. I put it in there late. So that's the 3-minute egg. And then we're going to put the timer on for another minute. And then we're done with the other ones for about another 4 minutes. These ones aren't even boiling yet, even though it's on high. I'm going to put a lid on to speed it up. This one obviously is bubbling, so I know it's boiling. So we've got 2 of these. Well, these are little crabs. You see that? Good garnish. Then we'll do one other thing with this. The other one, we're going to try and do these ones first, because these are the hard ones, right? And I'll be surprised if many of you can do that. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exactly the same. This one might be harder, but try and do the 5 one first. Or we could just fan it out like the tomatoes. So that's a 3 one there. Yeah, that's a nice easy one. Then the other thing we can do later, if we mash them up, don't throw them away, because we'll just chop them up really, really small and use them for salad. You can grate this, by the way, and mix it with yogurt and mint, and that would be a minty dip. Last one on here, 2 more. We're going to do the spring onion. So we're going to make like a rose out of the spring onion. So we need to cut the little end off, cut this bit off, but don't throw it away, because this bit will still be okay. So that's the other next egg. So that one's a 3-minute egg. That one's a 4-minute egg. That's why we might need a couple more eggs, because I've done 2 of the boiled. If you were to poach an egg, by the way, you can just put it in the boiling water with a bit of vinegar and stir it round for about 2 minutes until it's cooked. You take it out with a spoon with holes in. We might do that later if we get time. So we get this, and then we make it a bit shorter. Watch this. Make it shorter, about that long. And then we're going to get the small knife or the big knife, any knife you like, and we put it in here, cut it one way and cut it the other way about 3 times. The more you cut it, the better, but you don't want it breaking so it falls off. Then we put this in, and it all, where it goes in ice cold water, it sprays out type thing like a little rose. So we're going to do that, one little bit in here. Now obviously we can just chop it up. The other garnish we've got is some little chives. And we can just use these to stick them out of things, or we can chop them really small. If you're going to chop these, you can chop it in half, half again, and then we're cutting 4 bits at a time, or even loads of bits at a time. Some people do with this with scissors, but we can do some loads of little bits of chives. So this would be good. Yesterday when we went to the college, they did butter with chives in. That was quite good and had a nice flavour. I know, was it spring onion actually, not chives, not spring onion. So I just put that on my little tray. Last job is the carrots. So julienne we're going to do here, so it's about 5 centimetres, then as thin as you can but even. So we get the fat part of the carrot, we make it square first because it's a lot easier with the square carrot. You know, like getting it, so these bits we can just dice up for something. And now we have to cut it nice and thin, right? So I might be better with my glasses on here. So I'm cutting it nice and thin, right, nice and thin. Then we cut it as thin as we can. I've got 2 here, so cut 2 at a time. This is called julienne. You can do this on a machine, but we're going to see how your knife skills are. And I would be better with my glasses on here. Yeah? And then we've got these little matchsticks here, look. Nice little matchsticks, I don't know if you can see them here. And then we can put a pattern. I like noughts and crosses. I'm going to make like a noughts and crosses pattern on there, like a bit of a Jenga. So you can make a little bit of a Jenga, maybe even higher, not just one high, you can make them higher. So we're just going to show you this, and then you're going to go and do these. You don't need to blanch the tomato. I think Lee, is he back? Oh, you're back, sorry. Hey, have you finished yet? Oh, how long did it take you to do that? Say again? Oh, 5 minutes. So come and show me it. He's actually done it in 5 minutes. That's very good, actually. Look at this. Homemade mayo, 5 minutes. That's called emulsion, by the way. And that took him 5 minutes. The only trouble is, that was very good. Quick for 5 minutes. I was impressed with that. But we can do it slightly quicker. You're going to time me on your thing when I say go. You ready? when I don't start yet. So I'll get the jug, because he already had the stuff in there. I've got the vinegar in here. I've got the Dijon mustard. Hopefully this will work, now I've said that. Can you get me 1 egg out the fridge, cheers, thank you. Because I've been using a cold egg, and if there's some oil in the fridge, bring me the cold oil out. It's meant to be better with cold. We're going to have the camera on this bit here, just this bit, so you can see my jug. Can you just see it so you can see my jug? Yeah. Is there any cold oil in the fridge as well? If not, it doesn't matter. So we crack the whole egg in this time, not the egg yolk. Normally it's only the egg yolk. So I'm going to crack it in and try not to break the yolk for a reason. I can go in there. Now we're going to put the oil in. We don't normally put the oil in, but it doesn't matter. Everybody, I'm just going to use warm oil. Normally, cold oil will work. So now, hopefully I haven't put too much oil in there. The pan fell off the thing. That's okay. It's boiling now, so I'll do that. So that's going here. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of oil out there, maybe I'll put a tiny bit more in. So what you need to do, without breaking the egg yolk yet, you're going to time me as soon as I say go. Go! We put it in, on high. Don't move it yet, right? Only do it for about 10 seconds. And then up and down. Tell me when it's 30 seconds. How many seconds? That's it, done. 25 seconds. That's all it takes. So this is called the slow way, like Leon did. His one's slightly thicker than mine. I think I put a tiny bit too much oil in. And yours looks a bit yellower than mine, which is weird. They do look slightly different colours. But obviously for the exam, 5 minutes you can afford actually in the exam. But you can't probably afford 10 or 15 minutes. But of course, mayonnaise class is quite high skill. 25 seconds once you've weighed the ingredients. So well done. This is nice and thick. Yours is thicker than mine. I think with cold oil, when I made it last time, it's slightly thicker. So it's still quite thick. And we could then, yours is actually still too thick. So to make this thinner, you put a little bit of boiling water in it. So that's what they do. And you can flavour it like with different things. So garlic, mustard, chives. Garlic would be probably quite well known. Blue cheese. Loads of different things that you can put some different flavours in here. So what I want you to do is you're going to make a different flavour with some of the mayonnaise we've made, and you're going to make, 2 of you are going to make it in groups of 4 or something as well. That's it now. Thank you.